Do you really believe that winning in life is a matter of luck? What if I told you that luck actually has absolutely nothing to do with it? That there's a secret technique used by ordinary people that can turn failure into victory, not by chance, but by conscious intention. Today, you're going to hear a powerful, undeniable true story. The story of a man who went from total bankruptcy to making so much money that he matched the income of the President of the United States. And he did it without tricks, without shortcuts, without privileged contacts, just by harnessing the power of directed imagination. In this video, we'll show you exactly how this technique works and how you can start applying it in your own life today. To kick things off with full force, comment below, "I am the creator of my reality." This simple phrase activates your vibration and clears the way for everything you're about to learn. For decades, science has sought to understand the limits of the human mind, but few dared to go as far as Neville Goddard and Jacobo Grinberg. Each, in his own way, broke through the barriers between the visible and the invisible, between the physical world and the power of consciousness. Neville Goddard, known for his teachings on conscious manifestation, claimed that the universe responds not to effort, but to your inner state. He taught that everything we experience is a direct reflection of what we feel and believe to be true, deep within ourselves. Grinberg, a neuroscientist and consciousness researcher, reached equally powerful conclusions. External reality isn't fixed, but rather a projection of the individual neuronal field, a structure the mind can shape. His work showed that the brain doesn't just interpret the world, it creates it, and that what we feel with intensity and clarity inside becomes the raw material of our physical experience. Both thinkers converge on one truth. Reality can be deliberately shaped by deep internal states. The story you're about to see in this video and the technique you will learn are living proof of that. Prepare to overturn everything you believed about success, destiny, and above all, luck. From an early age, we're conditioned to believe that success is a matter of luck. This idea is so rooted in our culture that phrases like, "If you're lucky, you've got it all," or "that's just lucky people stuff" have become common, almost unquestionable. And it's precisely this mindset that prevents millions from taking control of their own reality. When you attribute others' achievements to luck, you're unconsciously telling yourself that there's nothing you can do but passively wait for life to smile on you. But where does this idea come from? It springs from a superficial perception of results. When we see someone succeed, achieve something grand, or change their life overnight, we don't see what happened behind the scenes in that person's mind. We only see the end result, and without understanding the invisible process, we label it luck. But luck isn't a cause, it's a label. And labels are mental shortcuts to avoid thinking deeply about what we don't understand. Science and spirituality have already demonstrated that reality is malleable. Jacobo Grinberg, for example, proved that the brain not only interprets the world, but projects it. That means everything you experience as real is the direct result of an internal, vibrational, and perceptual pattern. The idea that you need to be in the right place at the right time is only half true. What truly matters is who you are being inside when the opportunity arises. And unlike luck, that is 100% under your control. People who win consistently have something in common. They operate from a specific inner state before the result appears. They live, feel, and believe in their success even before any external proof. And it's that frequency that attracts favorable circumstances. That's why stories like AJF's, who went from bankruptcy to a fortune betting on horse races purely by using the power of imagination, aren't isolated cases. They're manifestations of a universal law in action. When you believe in luck, you're saying the universe is random, that life's forces are chaotic and unpredictable, and that you're a victim of fate's whims. That belief robs you of your power. But when you understand that everything is energy, frequency, and consciousness in motion, you stop waiting for something external and start becoming intentional. The truth is, luck is just the name we give to the results achieved by people who know how to use their minds to create reality. And if you want to be one of those people, your first step is to stop believing in chance and begin investigating the internal mechanism that generates external events. Imagine for a moment that every feeling in your body is generated by something you experienced outside: a word, a piece of music, an unexpected situation. A sad memory brings tears. Good news sparks excitement. A loss causes pain. That seems natural. External experience causes internal emotion. But what if you could invert that process? What if internal emotion could create external experience? This is the basis of the law of reversibility, one of the most powerful and overlooked laws of conscious creation. It states that if a physical state can generate an emotion, then an emotion, when felt intensely, can generate its corresponding physical state. In other words, what you feel inside has the power to reorganize what you live outside. This is the key behind great transformations and seemingly unexplainable victories. Neville Goddard spoke of this clearly and courageously in his teachings. He said, "You don't need to wait for the world to change in order to feel different. You can change internally and watch the world respond. It's as if the universe were a vibrational mirror. It reflects what you consistently emanate." Emotion isn't just a byproduct of reality, but a creative agent of it. Jacobo Grinberg arrived at the same conclusion via neuroscience. He explained that there is a mental field, the neuronal field, that projects what we perceive as reality. This field responds directly to the content we feed into our subconscious mind. During deep relaxation or creative visualization, it's possible to plant new information into that field, altering perceptual structures and, consequently, the events that unfold in our lives. This is exactly what AJF did. The man who won twice in horse race betting. He didn't guess the outcome. He vividly lived the experience of victory in his imagination so intensely that he got goosebumps and saw the scene with full sensory clarity. The result wasn't a miracle. It was the universe's vibrational response to a psychological state maintained with discipline and intention. By applying the law of reversibility, you stop waiting for external signs to change your vibration. You begin to generate the right vibration yourself and watch how the universe responds with people, opportunities, ideas, and synchronistic events aligned with your chosen inner reality. This inversion of logic is what distinguishes reality creators from reactors. It's not about pretending or fooling yourself with empty positive thoughts. It's about living an inner reality so intensely that the outer world is forced to reorganize in harmony with it. Many have heard of Neville Goddard as the man who spoke about the power of imagination, but few truly grasped what he taught, and even fewer applied it deeply. To Goddard, imagination wasn't daydreaming or fantasy. It was a creative act. A direct mechanism of manifestation that, when used correctly, becomes the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between desire and its realization. He didn't teach mere visualization of outcomes. He said you must live the experience internally with rich sensory detail as if it's already happening now. The secret lies in the how of imagining. It's not about thinking of something you want in the future, but embodying the feeling that it has already occurred. He recommended creating a short symbolic scene and repeating it repeatedly with full attention and realism. This practice was called directed imagination, or as he put it, living in the end. It's not about imagining the process or steps to the result. It's about inhabiting the final moment, the point at which the desire is already a done deal. For example, instead of imagining the entire journey to landing a job, a person should visualize someone congratulating them on the new role or themselves opening their first paycheck. The imagination must be specific, sensory, and emotionally natural. For Neville, the real secret lay in naturalness. If the scene feels forced or fanciful, it won't stick. But if it feels so real that your body responds with goosebumps, sighs, or deep relaxation, it penetrates the subconscious. And that changes everything. He said, "You must inhabit the state of the fulfilled desire, as if nothing else is needed. Don't ask, live as one who has already received." Hundreds of people around the world use this technique, including AJF, who imagined himself counting stacks of cash and feeling the texture of the bills. He didn't ask to win, he lived as though he had already won. And the universe merely responded to the vibrational coherence of that internal experience. Neville affirmed that when done correctly, this practice breaks the cycle of doubt, because the mind already accepts it as truth before any external proof. It's not magic, but an understanding of the laws that govern creation. By adopting a new inner state of being, you begin to emit a vibration coherent with that reality. And as we've seen, the external world always mirrors what's within. That is the essence of directed imagination. Inhabit the desired state until the world bends to it. During one of Neville Goddard's lectures, a man named AJF stood up, not to ask a question, but to share a testimony. What he revealed that day would become one of the most extraordinary and emblematic stories of deliberate consciousness power. It wasn't just an example of successful manifestation, it was concrete proof that reality can be manipulated through disciplined imagination. AJF was in financial ruin when he first heard about the book Imagination Awakened and, in particular, its chapter, The Pruning Shears of Revision. Inspired by another success story, he decided to apply the teachings radically. But unlike what many might think, he didn't start by asking for wealth outright. He created a detailed internal scene in which he saw himself holding winning horse race tickets, heard the clerk announce the prize amount, and felt the money in his hands. He enacted the victory with absolute clarity and repeated this experience multiple times a day for 3 consecutive weeks. The vividness was such that, according to him, he felt goosebumps and a strong sense of reality. What happened next was astonishing. He bet on exactly the same horses he had imagined, won the series of races, and received a check for $4,000, which, adjusted for today's inflation, equals nearly $1 million. For many, this would seem like luck. But for AJF, it wasn't enough. He wanted to prove that conscious imagination not only worked, but was replicable, so he decided to repeat the experiment. He crafted a new scene, this time involving 2 bank managers greeting him cordially, showing him account statements with high balances, one for $10,000, another for $15,000. Finally, he imagined the race scenario again and saw himself stacking piles of money on his desk. The scene was always the same, experienced with sensory details, the feel of the notes, the room's lighting, the teller's faces, the sense of security. After weeks of repetition, he returned to the racetrack and, by mistake, doubled 2 of his winning tickets. The result? He received over $36,000, astonishingly close to the amount he had visualized. This story became one of the most documented in creative mind studies. It not only confirms the effectiveness of imagination as a manifestation technique, but also obliterates the argument that luck is the determining factor. AJF created an internal reality field so coherent and detailed that the physical world had no choice but to comply. If luck were predominant, this wouldn't have happened twice, nor in so many similar cases documented by Neville Goddard. What AJF showed the world is that, when focused with intention and discipline, the human mind can command matter with mathematical precision. Have you ever wondered why so many desires never materialize, even when you believe you're thinking positively? The answer lies in how the desire is formulated, and especially in the absence of a structured internal process. Conscious reality creation isn't about wanting, it's about living internally what you want. And for that, there are three fundamental steps: desire, relaxation, and sensory imagery. 1. Clarify your desire. Be absolutely specific. Don't say, "I want to be rich," or "I want to be happy." Pinpoint exactly what you want and how you'll know it's happened. The clarity of your desire creates a target for the subconscious. The vaguer the desire, the more diffuse the vibrational field generated. By choosing a concrete final scene, opening a bank statement, showing your desired balance, or receiving congratulations on your new job, you create a powerful internal anchor. 2. Deep relaxation. Without it, your mind stays in beta state, logical, resistant. To access the subconscious, you must lower your brain waves to alpha and theta, where suggestions are absorbed without critical filters. Relaxation is non-negotiable. It's the door to the creative field. Techniques include alternating divergent attention, noticing the space around your body, with convergent attention, focusing on an internal point like your chest center, imagining your body growing heavy as if concrete is poured over you, and tuning into subtle energy sensations in your hands, feet, and torso. Master these, and you open the subconscious gateway. 3. Sensory imagery. This isn't simple visualization, it's a full sensory experience. You don't just see the scene, you hear, touch, feel, and breathe within it. If your goal is financial security, imagine holding cash, hearing a bank transaction, feeling the texture of bills, and hearing the teller say, "All confirmed." The more sensory the scene, the more real it feels, and the stronger its imprint on the subconscious. These 3 steps form a powerful equation: clarity of desire, plus receptive state, plus vivid sensory experience, plus vibrational reprogramming. Once your vibration shifts, the field around you reorganizes to manifest what you've already lived internally. This is the secret behind all the unbelievable success stories. It wasn't luck. It was the science of consciousness in action. One major misconception about conscious manifestation is that feeling the emotion of the fulfilled desire is the most important step. Phrases like, "You have to feel as if it's already real," are repeated endlessly, but no one explains that forcing an emotion you've never felt often causes the process to fail. The truth is simple. You don't force emotion. You live the experience internally with maximum realism. Emotion is not the starting point, it's the byproduct of vividness. Just as in the physical world, an experience naturally evokes emotion, so it does in the internal world. When the mind believes something is truly happening, it responds emotionally on its own. There's no effort, there's a natural response. Many get stuck because they think they're not feeling enough. They ask, "How can I feel something I've never lived?" That frustration blocks the process. The mind doubts, the body tenses, the vibration misaligns. What should be a light, creative practice becomes a forced, ineffective attempt. That's why Neville Goddard stressed naturalness. He taught that the internal experience must be so vivid, specific, and sensory that the body responds spontaneously. How do you build that vividness? Start with a short, symbolic scene that clearly represents the fulfilled desire. Then repeat it until it feels familiar to the mind. One visualization isn't enough. Repetition makes it part of your internal structure. Naturally, emotions arise: relief, excitement, gratitude, security, without effort. Grinberg described that when the brain undergoes intense, repeated internal experiences, it reorganizes external perception. The nervous system doesn't precisely distinguish between physical and mental experiences if the mental scene is realistic enough. And there lies the true power. You don't force emotion. You represent the experience with rich detail. So instead of worrying about feeling love, feeling wealth, or feeling fulfilled, ask yourself, what would I see? What would I hear? What would I touch? Who would be with me? What scents would be in the air? When you answer these questions and weave those elements into your visualization, the feeling arises naturally, and with it, transformation begins. It's not about chasing emotion. It's about living the final result internally so completely that emotion becomes inevitable. And when that happens, the external world responds with equal intensity. Now that you understand the real mechanism behind what many call luck, it's time to apply this knowledge. Everything you need to transform your life is already within you. Clarity of desire, mental focus, disciplined repetition, and a deeply sensory inner practice. Don't wait any longer. Don't postpone creating the life you want. Set aside a moment today to practice. Find a quiet place, relax deeply, and start building your internal scene. It doesn't need to be long or perfect, just real enough for your mind to accept as true. Repeat for 3 weeks. Watch, trust, let reality respond to the vibration you're emitting. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel for more insights, grounded in science, spirituality, and real practice. Share this video with someone who needs awakening. And in the comments, write, "I trust the creative power of my mind." That phrase is more than a comment, it's an activation. You don't need luck, you need consciousness. And now that you know this, the next step is yours.